Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to episode 5 of the Turnbuckle. So, I got 2 weeks worth backed up here. Some stuff's been going down. As you can see, I'm in a new positioning on the room. My roommate and other broadcast partner, Blue, has left back to Illinois. You can check out more info on that on the main podcast, on the gaming podcast. So going forward, it will just be me. So let's get into it. We have the February 12th edition of Monday Night Raw with a grade rating of A. It was a decent Monday Night Raw. The first match of the night was a 6-man tag match between New Day and Jey Uso taking on Imperium. Uh, the New Day and Jey Uso working together works flawlessly. You know, Big E's still recovering. He's still being wary about it. So New Day still doesn't have its final third member. Hopefully he comes back soon. But Jay did a pretty good job. One of the best spots in the match, Gunther had Kofi and Boston Crab, I believe, and was mocking Jay and Jay just came in and bitch slapped him right across his face. I never laughed so hard at a Austrian man getting slapped, but there I was laughing. New Day and Jey Usos picked up the win, an A+ of a match. Then we had a qualifying match for the men eliminations chamber between Bobby Lashley from SmackDown and Bronson Reed from Raw. Bobby Lashley got the win on that. It was kind of an underwhelming match. It did have some amazing spots, two big men going at it. So I gave it an A. It was a pretty entertaining match throughout. The next match, we have a women's elimination chamber qualifying match between returning Liv Morgan and Zoe Stark, with Liv Morgan picking up the win, another A rating match. Then we had R-Truth versus JD McDonough as the fourth match of the night. Unfortunately, this was brutal for R-Truth. Hard fought, but unfortunately, JD McDonough got the win due to some little bit of a Judgment Day interference, I'd say. It got an A-. It was very entertaining, very captivating. However, because I really don't like JD McDonough, I gave it a minus. Afterwards, I'd probably end up going into some extra notes, but I'll say it now. They brutally attacked R-Truth after the match, all of Judgment Day. After which, DIY's Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano came out with steel chairs to even the odds, saving R-Truth, due to them getting a call from The Miz and saying to help look out for Truth. Next match of the night was another men's elimination chamber qualifying match between SmackDown's LA Knight, yeah, and Raw's Ivar. Now, early in the night when I saw Bobby Lashley win, I'm like, okay, they gotta put a big guy in here. Maybe AJ Styles is gonna come out and ruin LA Knight's match, just like LA Knight did on SmackDown the previous week. Did not happen. LA Knight surprisingly picked up the win after a hard-fought match, getting an A+ rating for me. The main event was Shinsuke Nakamura taking on Sami Zayn. However, due to some interference from Drew McIntyre, Shinsuke Nakamura picked up the win, giving this an A rating as well. It was very captivating. Sami Zayn almost had it a couple times, showing why you should never count out the underdog. So let's go into the extra notes. So Seth Rollins would start off the show and call out Cody Rhodes to address what happened on last week's SmackDown. Chants of "We want Cody" and "Rocky sucks" echoed through the arena before Cody could answer if he would face Rollins at WrestleMania. Drew McIntyre would interrupt them, uh, talking about how he's a savior and how he ruined CM Punk's WrestleMania chance and how he deserves a title shot. You know, being a hypocrite and all, being a whiny crybaby about all his failures. Drew would hit Seth Rollins with a vicious Glasgow kiss, and that was it. So, oh, I forgot this. I guess I didn't put this one in. I thought I did. The first it says in my notes, was a qualifying match to see who would face Pete Dunne and Tyler Bates on SmackDown, with the winner facing Judgment Day for the Undisputed Tag Team Championships. If I recall correctly, I believe DIY was in that match. Was in that qualifying match, and they won that qualifying match to go on to that SmackDown. I'm hoping I have that in my SmackDown notes. Weird. Another talking segment we had, Rhea Ripley would come out and talk, unbeknownst to anyone. She wasn't scheduled for this. She just came out and pulled a CM Punk. Started dropping bombs. Adam Pearce would try to keep the peace between Rhea and Nia Jax. It would blow up. With Adam Pearce saying that you want her, you got her. So at Elimination Chamber, it will be Nia Jax versus Rhea Ripley for the Women's Championship. Uh, yeah, we got an R-Truth and Judgment Day segment. It livened the mood. Oh, wait, is this the wrong Raw? Oh, that's the wrong Raw notes. No wonder. I'm looking at 2-5. I'm an idiot. My bad. Quickly get through this. The first segment of the night for Raw, February 12th's Raw. I don't know why I still had February 5th's. That is my bad. The first talking segment of the night was with Sami Zayn, who talked about his match with Shinsuke. We then got treated to Cody Rhodes, talking about the hashtag We Want Cody movement. These were all different points of the night. I don't have them chronologically ordered, so I should really start doing that. Seth came out to talk about Cody's decision, stating that he will be Cody's shield in the battle against the Bloodline. For those who are unaware, during the WrestleMania 40 press conference, uh, Cody Rhodes wound up choosing Roman Reigns. The Rock ended up turning heel and slapping Cody Reigns. So just a quick recap: The Rock is a heel, and Cody the story going forward is that Cody Rhodes is gonna finish his story. We got treated to a backstage segment of the New Day and Jey Uso, where we learned that next week Gunther will put his title on the line against Jey Uso. Uh, yeah, I already talked about the Damian Priest, the Judgment Day beatdown on R-Truth. There we go. We got treated to a Becky Lynch segment afterwards, which started with her saying she was gonna go to a person, which started with her saying she saw a sign that said, "Will you go to my prom in 2020 and 2034?" Which she has agreed to, much like how Cody Rhodes agreed to go to a person's wedding and be his best man. uh, Before talking about her WrestleMania and her career as a whole, her road to WrestleMania and career as a whole, she would make a toast to Rhea Ripley and her last few weeks as champion before being interrupted by Nia Jax. who was then interrupted by Rhea Ripley, who started brawling with Jax with some help from Becky Lynch. Both women drove Nia Jax back. So that was all Raw. Now we're gonna get into SmackDown. That's the wrong SmackDown too. There it is. SmackDown on February 16th edition was an A plus of a SmackDown. First match of the night was another Elimination Chamber qualifying match for the men's side. We had Kevin Owens from SmackDown taking on Raw's Dirty Dom. A plus of a match. Dominic has been really upping his wrestling game. In a recent interview, he actually says that they don't pipe in the boos that he gets on screen. That's legitimately how loud they are. When it comes to it. So Kevin Owens ended up winning the match. He has qualified. Then we got another woman elimination chamber qualifying match between Zelina Vega and Tiffany Stratton. This was supposed to be Shotzi versus Tiffany Stratton. However, during an NXT taping, Shotzi was unfortunately injured and could not compete, so they scrapped that. You then got Tiffany Stratton with the win on that one, showing why she shouldn't be messed with. Although, kind of disappointed. Kind of want to see that the Latina go in there and, show why you don't mess around with Latinas. That was an A match. Next, we had a tag team match between Javier Vernal and Bo Morris from NXT. I have no idea. Versus Authors of Pain. Quick squash match. Not even gonna go too far into detail. B minus because, it's a squash match. Those are always quick and boring. So I got a B minus with AOP obviously getting the win. Next match of the night was the men's elimination chamber qualifying match between The Miz and Logan Paul. So this is the first time The Miz has wrestled on TV. On a normal SmackDown, actually. He's only done pay-per-views, or as they call them, premium live events. So, his first match, he actually almost cheated to get the win. Almost using the brass knuckles. The Miz would have used them, but the ref was looking, and The Miz just tossed them aside. Logan Paul got a somewhat of a clean win, pretty much, over The Miz, solidifying himself as the last entrant to the men's elimination chamber. A plus match. The last match of the night was between Naomi and Alba Fire for a spot, one of the last spots in the women elimination chamber match. So this was Naomi's in-ring return besides the Royal Rumble on SmackDown. She did a phenomenal job. As great as ever. It was an A plus of a match with Naomi getting the win. Let's look at the notes. So, towards the end of the show, we were greeted with Nick Aldis, who showed off his latest acquisition of SmackDown. That being Braun Breaker, as some people call him, the next big thing like Brock Lesnar, who has been written off WWE history. If you need to know why, just search up Vince McMahon and you'll see why. We then got treated to close the show, The Bloodline, who then went on to claim that The Rock is an official member of the Bloodline. The Rock then came out and started talking shit about the city they're in, which was Salt Lake City, Utah. Shout out to you guys. He then talked about how the fans had the perfect main event for WrestleMania and just threw it away for Cody's story, before mocking Cody's story. The Rock then said he would make sure that Cody loses at WrestleMania 40. He ended with his iconic "If you smell what the Rock is cooking." However, with one small change. He changed it to "If you smell what the bloodline is cooking," before raising his hand like this in an L shape. Uh, so I'm gonna talk about those two things right now. Those last two things, real quick. So rumor being, The Rock is gonna turn on Roman Reigns. Everyone can see it coming. Like, he held his hand up like this on the bloodline when it's usually just this. Uh, and when he said he's gonna do everything in his power to make sure he loses, he being Cody, he was actually looking at Roman Reigns and pointing directly at Roman while saying that. So it got people speculating that he's gonna turn on Roman uh, at the match and set up the story, because like The Rock's been saying, and this is one thing I can agree with him with, he's always in it for the long haul. He's the long game player. And people were right. This doesn't make sense to have their match when there hasn't been build up. There hasn't been enough build up. Uh, it just didn't make sense. So I'm with this rumor, and I hope this is where WWE is going. That they're gonna pretty much have The Rock betray Roman on the biggest stage of them all, solidifying Cody's promise of taking everything from Roman. Because when The Rock betrays Roman and Roman loses his title, he has nothing, because that sets off a motion of Jimmy and Solo backing off, not wanting to do anything, because The Rock is the high chief of the bloodline. Roman is the tribal chief. He's below The Rock. The Rock is the high chief in the family. So, if The Rock does that and costs Roman, and then Roman tries to go after The Rock, he won't have backup. He will not have the help he gets. And that's simply because they will have too much respect for The Rock as a person to really turn their backs on him. They will not do that because The Rock is the high chief. They'll look at Roman and pretty much, Jimmy will probably say with a smirk after his match at WrestleMania, uh, that he's not touching that with a 10-foot pole, pretty much. And then we're gonna get a full year of build up to next year's WrestleMania 41, where it will be tribal combat, as I have stated. Rock versus Roman, no title, as it should be. So that's it for that week's worth of wrestling. I already got next week's. I got next week's already worked on. As you can see, for this coming week, as you can see on my little OBS camera there, today's date. This week's, as I'm recording, I have started. I will be uploading that. I will be uploading this week's pretty much next Sunday. That will include Monday Night Raw from this week, Friday Night SmackDown, and Elimination Chamber. So be on the lookout for that. I'll try to keep my cousin to keep the schedule on track. So till next time, guys, remember, always kick out before 3. Have a good night.